Hey to all the spooks out there. Welcome back to another episode of Spine Chilling Chats, where every Wednesday we dig up the darkest corners of true crime, history, folklore, and the supernatural. I'm Ange.
And I'm Amanda.
Tonight we're unlocking the doors to one of the most mysterious mansions in America, a sprawling labyrinth of twisting staircases, hidden rooms, and doors that lead to nowhere. It's a house born from grief, built with endless imagination, and surrounded by decades of myth and legend. We're talking about the Winchester Mystery House. Was it a brilliant woman's architectural obsession? A never-ending construction project fueled by sorrow? Or, as the legends claim, a mansion built to confuse restless spirits? Grab your flashlight, because this story will take you down hallways where history and mystery collide. Let's step inside the Winchester Mystery House. Trigger warning for talks of miscarriage and child loss, so please take care while listening. Sarah Lockwood Pardee was born on June 4th, 1839 in New Haven, Connecticut, to Leonard Pardee and Sarah W. Burns. That was her maiden name, but she was eventually Sarah W. Pardee as well. Her mom.
Huh?
Her mom. Her mom was Sarah W. Her
Burns.
maiden name was Burns, so she was Pardee.
Oh.
So it was Sarah Lockwood Pardee. Her mom was Sarah W. Pardee.
So Sarah's middle name's Lockwood.
Yes. Leonard was a successful carriage manufacturer and later a skilled craftsman who established a mill and wood shop. He actually managed a public bath next door to their home, allowing Sarah and her siblings to grow up with a privileged lifestyle at 29 Orange Street.
And what the hell is a public bath?
I'm thinking it's just where you can take a bath, because probably a lot of places that have indoor plumbing. So they probably had tubs.
Like strangers in my bathtub.
Well, it's a bathhouse. It's not like.
Well, I know, but if I have to go,
It's
there,
no different than going to like a spa and you getting like a mud bath or something like
I've never
that.
done that.
Well, neither have I, but some people do.
Some people do.
Go sitting in the sauna.
Not I.
People with their buck ass.
So
naked.
now that makes me think. Right. I always have a towel if I sit down.
Some people don't. Some people raw dog it.
Ass naked. But now you got me thinking. The bathhouse or public bath, it doesn't say house, public bath. Do they recycle the water? And then you got me thinking, since you said mud, do they recycle that mud? Do they clean it out for every person and put new mud in there?
I don't
That's
know.
why I'll never do a mud bath, because that.
I mean, it's already mud. It's dirt. You can't get more dirty than dirt.
Ooh. Yeah, but there's
So-
no somebody else's vagina or penis is in there, and then I go in there.
You're covered in worm poo. You're caring about a vagina?
Yeah, because what if they have crabs or herpes?
Well,
or
hopefully the mud suffocates it.
syphilis, or what if I get pregnant?
Yeah. That is the real concern here.
That is the real concern.
I swear.
I
it
don't
was a
want
mud
no
bath.
baby.
I didn't cheat on you.
I did. It was just a mud bath. Don't use that as an excuse now if you're going to cheat and get pregnant. Don't be like, I had a mud bath and
Yeah.
get pregnant. That's not a thing.
Just that you know of.
That I know of. That's true. It is a concern.
Yeah.
So
Anywho,
anyway,
she was born the fifth of 7 children. She had one brother, Leonard Morehouse Pardee, and 4 surviving sisters, Mary Augusta, Antoinette, who went by Nettie Elizabeth, Isabel Campbell, and Estelle Lillian. all
and those
30.
are some
Unique names.
unique names and middle names at that.
Yeah.
Morehouse, Augusta, which is super cute. Elizabeth,
Campbell.
spelt with an S. Elizabeth. Campbell, and Lillian's cute too. I mean, but the first name is Estelle. You know what I mean? Those are some unique, cute names.
Yeah. She had another sister, her namesake, Sarah E. Party, who was the firstborn child, but sadly died from cholera when she was only a year old, which is very weird to me to not only name your child after yourself when you're a female, like the mother named her Sarah after her, but to name a child after their deceased sibling, that's weird.
And as common as it is for women to name their children after themselves,
I think
you
that
guys
happens
ever
more.
notice?
Hispanic families do that.
Yes,
Or
because like
Catholic
my family. Okay, my first thought was they never put a junior at the end of women's names.
No.
Weird. Because why? Why is it such a sexist type?
Well, but they're not juniors here because they have different middle names.
Yes, which Mike and his dad have the same first and last name. I'm not going to say the last name, so it's Mike L. last name, and his dad is Mike L. last name, but they're different middle names.
Yeah.
So it's like
Why
so
wouldn't
he
you
keeps
just make
getting
him a
mail for
junior?
his dad, and he's like, "That's not fucking me." Why would you not just do junior?
The name Lockwood was after Sarah's father's longtime friend, Lockwood Sanford, who was a well-known New England wood engraver. So that's how she got Lockwood, which that's an unusual first name too.
Yeah, yeah,
These are some strange names.
yeah. And we thought people naming their kids today were strange names.
Yeah, these are really weird.
For back in the 1800s.
Yeah. But our Sarah got a wonderful education, having a private French tutor, learning 4 different languages, and was a skilled musician.
I know 9.
Yeah.
Our
Our tongue is one of them.
In the last episode, I said I had 9 languages that I knew. And one of them is parcel tongue. Okay. I'm just kidding, guys. I know 1 language, a little bit of 2. That's it.
Yeah. She was intelligent, and it was said that she was very beautiful as well. The family had a philanthropic spirit, with her father often hosting abolitionists and free thinkers. Those closest to her affectionately called her Sallie, a nickname passed down from her paternal grandmother, Sallie Party Goodyear. So I'll call her Sallie from here on out. That's what she went by.
Yeah.
And it's confusing with all the other Sarahs.
Yeah. Yeah.
The family eventually moved to a home on Court Street. She attended the Young Ladies Collegiate Institute at Yale. So that's pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Smarty pants.
Yeah. On September 30th, 1862, Sallie married William Wirt Winchester. Wirt. W-I-R-T. Wirt.
That's
unusual.
Good for you.
Name of the game today. Unusual names. The heir to the Winchester Repeating Arms Company. The Winchester name had quickly risen to fame as one of the first companies to mass produce repeating rifles, firearms capable of firing multiple shots without reloading. Their 1873 model, often called the gun that won the West, became a favorite among settlers and saw heavy use during the American Indian Wars. The company's success brought the Winchester family immense wealth, like wealth that in time would fund the mysterious and unusual path that Sallie Winchester would take. But they had money. They had money, honey.
So she came from a good prominent family, and now she married into a good prominent family.
Yeah,
So imagine that.
She has no care in the world.
There is no end to any of this spending.
Yeah. So it was a really smart match for the two families, both coming from successful, industrious families. But by all accounts, they were also a good match romantically. They moved in the same social circles, shared the same interests in architecture and design, and seemed to enjoy the cultured life their wealth afforded them. William, though often described as quiet and reserved, was absolutely devoted to Sallie. She, in turn, supported him not only as a wife, but as a true partner, which I feel was really rare back then.
Yeah, that is fucking awesome to have somebody so devoted, because I don't know when it all happened, but let's say back in the 1800s, back in the day, it's usually wealthy families force their kids to marry other wealthy families.
Yeah,
So
it was a
wasn't
business
really
agreement instead of
for love, and they actually
ended
met
up
and
love.
having love, and they were devoted to each other, and she supported him, and that's amazing because, like I said, it's usually, like she said, a business transaction. Wealthy marries the wealthy.
Yep, to keep both families wealthy.
Yeah, so that's really fucking awesome.
With the Civil War raging and building supplies hard to come by, Sallie and William made their home with William's parents on Court Street in New Haven, but the young couple dreamed of a place to call their own. They set their sights on Prospect Hill, one of the city's most desirable areas at the time. It wasn't until the war ended that the dream began to take shape. By 1866, construction on their home was finally underway. As their Prospect Hill home took shape, the Winchesters found themselves drawn into the world of architecture and design. What began as curiosity grew into a lifelong passion for Sallie, who also gained valuable knowledge about real estate and finance through William and her father-in-law's guidance. On June 15th, which again, that's really rare for a woman back then
To
be taken under the wing like that and shown.
Well, and to be able to make decisions of that sort.
Yeah, like they usually, that's not a woman's place.
No.
Go get in the kitchen or
Go
go
do some laundry, go take care of the
sew
kids,
something,
things like that. Yeah.
So it's really amazing and wonderful that she was allowed to be brought into that side of things.
Exactly. Very good.
On June 15th, 1866, the couple welcomed their only child, a baby girl named Annie Party Winchester, after William's late sister, who had died during childbirth. Tragically, Annie, their daughter, suffered from marasmus, which is a devastating form of malnutrition caused by a severe deficiency of calories and essential nutrients, leading to extreme weight loss, muscle wasting, and lack of subcutaneous fat, making the body appear emaciated and bones and ribs prominent, sticking out. Basically, no matter how much she was being fed, her body couldn't absorb the nutrients it needed to grow and thrive. So it caused her to waste away, which is absolutely heartbreaking. I can't imagine being a parent watching your child suffer like that and not be able to do anything about it. Like, it doesn't matter how much they feed her, she can't absorb the nutrients from it. Annie lived only a month before succumbing to her condition and passing away. So sad. The loss was indescribable, a pain parents should never have to know. Sallie never would give birth to another child. And so I'm sorry, I'm going to talk a little bit about miscarriage here. So if this is a sensitive subject for you, you might want to fast forward a little bit. I've mentioned my story before, but I like to talk about it when the opportunity arises because I know there is so many out there with, unfortunately, similar stories to mine. And it helps knowing that we are not alone in our grief. Aurora was our rainbow baby. We lost our son Landon in the second trimester on September 10th, 2017. So it's going to be 8 years a week ago when this comes out. So the pain of losing Landon put me in a very, very dark place for a long time. He had been our miracle baby, the result of a decade of trying many doctor's appointments, many medications, many shots, a very painful procedure, all in the hopes of having a child of our own. And all of our hopes and dreams I held in my arms, all wrapped up in a blanket that was 10 times too big for him because he was so little. So when I say that pain is indescribable, only a parent who has lost a child, either one that was in their womb or in their arms already, like Sallie, they're the only ones that really know that pain. And back then, there weren't support groups or a lot of therapists for women to talk to about this. It was taboo. You kind of
You were
just,
considered hysterical,
yeah. But, you know,
and that was a medical
you were
condition.
just supposed to forget about it and move on and have 20 more kids to replace that one. So thankfully, that's not the world today. There is help out there. There's more talk about it. So if that is something that you've experienced and you do need help, please reach out. I am more than happy to talk to any of you about it. I actually joined several different support groups on Facebook. That happened. So I can only imagine how alone Sallie felt in her own darkness. So when we brought Aurora home, I was breastfeeding her, and we thought it was going to be such a great time. We finally have our baby in our arms. And the first night, she just cried and cried. It was the hardest night. Robbie and I were both in tears because we didn't know what to do, what was wrong. Then we had my lactation consultation appointment the next morning and found out I actually wasn't producing enough milk, like barely any. So she had been crying all night because she was starving. And even now, when I think about it, I tear up because it's just an awful thought, that you were starving your baby.
Not intentionally,
Right.
but you don't know because you can't see when you're nursing a baby
How much is
they're
coming
getting,
out. Yeah.
if they're getting anything at all. You just don't know.
Yeah.
So it is heartbreaking.
So after that, I would have to pump what measly little amount I could because I still wanted to get, that breast milk for her because it's so important, at least in the beginning, when you have the colostrum. Yeah. To get that to them for the antibodies. And then we would supplement the difference with formula. But mom guilt is such a real thing. I felt like my body had failed in not only being able to carry my son, but now I can't even feed my daughter like I should. Like, what would have happened if back in the day they didn't have formula? Would my baby have just wasted away? I've always had a lot of self-hatred towards my body and a lot of insecurities being a big girl. So this just really took it to the next level, and it's still something I deal with every day. So my heart just breaks for Sallie and her husband. To have to watch your child suffer for the entirety of its short little life is just beyond anything I could ever imagine having to live through as a parent.
My thing too, really quick, is back then, the medical technology and the medical knowledge isn't as it is today. Luckily, you had the consultation. You guys figured it out because there were ways to see if you were producing milk as pumping.
Yeah.
They didn't have that back then, nor did they know how to cure this illness that the baby had. So the baby had an illness and they didn't know how to classify it. They didn't know how to cure it. They didn't know anything about it. Today, there's probably something they can do to help these babies who have that same syndrome.
I have no idea. I don't.
You know what I mean? Like they probably do to help them so they don't pass away. Also, back in the 1800s, you think they didn't have formula. They only had breastfeeding. So on top of her,
they would have probably had to hire a wet nurse.
Yes. So either having the wet nurse or not knowing that you're not producing. Not only was her baby having this illness, but maybe she wasn't producing enough milk too. We don't know the situation. We don't know anything about it, but like I'm so thankful to live in today's type. I hate to say this because society is such a
horrid place.
Yes. But to have that medical knowledge and the medical technology that we have today is amazing because it does help infants and mothers and kids and adults live their most prosperous and fruitful and
absolutely
longest life possible.
If it weren't for science and the medicine, I would not have been able to carry Aurora either. I had an incompetent cervix. So my cervix is weak and it could not hold the weight of a baby. That's why I lost my son. So I had to have surgery to basically put a band at the top of my cervix to hold the weight of any future children I have. And it's permanent. It's not, they can do like a little stitch at the bottom to hold it shut, but I didn't want, this had a much higher success rate. And I wasn't taking the chance again.
Because you think one little stitch is going to hold a 7-pound baby. Okay.
Yeah.
6-pound baby, 10-pound baby, depending on how big the baby is. But like one little stitch.
Yeah.
I wouldn't trust
the tack, the band that they put in, it can hold up to 120 pounds, he told me.
Jesus.
Yes.
Oh, thank God she wasn't 120 pounds.
So,
Good
if it
grief.
wasn't for that, I would have just kept having miscarriages. I would have kept losing my baby. So I am so grateful.
And the sad thing is you wouldn't have lost him early. You would have lost him every time.
Around that same
time.
Yep.
So every time you would have to go through this horrendous
experience. Yeah. It's traumatizing, but enough at the heavy.
Anyway, not that this is happy, but happier because this woman is fucking amazing.
Yes. The house was completed in 1868, was a whopping 20,000 square feet. That's massive.
Huge.
That is beyond comprehension. Had over 20 rooms with marble floors.
So money was no object because marble is fucking expensive.
Decorative fireplaces and chandeliers, large bay windows, plasterwork ceilings, and a circular driveway in the front.
I want a circular driveway because it's all fancy and have one of those lions sitting in the middle of it that has a fountain and stuff.
No, I don't want that. I want a little witch's cottage in the woods somewhere.
Well, I mean, I still want that, but I want the circular driveway with a fountain. I don't care.
That looks too inviting. I don't want to invite people. I want to be the spooky witch house that people leave alone.
All right, let me change it. Let me have a moat around my castle.
There you go.
Or my little tiny cottage or my castle. I either want a tiny house, I want a big ass fucking castle.
No in between.
There's no in between. That's it. So tiny house or castle, I'm getting a moat with no bridge. So don't even try to come visit.
Yeah, you got to swim. Or catapult yourself over.
You got to figure it out on your own because I ain't helping you.
You see me floating over in my little inner tube. I'm coming to visit.
Kicking your feet. I'm coming. Wait for me.
Hopefully there's no alligators in your moat.
No, I won't put alligators in there because then they might eat me. And they come on land. They don't stay in the water.
That's true.
I'm not trying to fuck with all that.
In June of 1869, Sallie's father passed away at the age of 60. The loss of her infant daughter was a wound Sallie Winchester never seemed able to heal from. Though she and William stayed devoted to one another, grief weighed heavily on her.
And that is another thing that a lot of people deal with after the loss of a child
is the marriage.
The marriage, the relationship, infidelity, just depression. Like they usually don't end up staying together, and some do. But a lot of people end up getting divorced or breaking out because of that, because it's just too much of a heartbreak.
Yeah.
So good for them for staying devoted to each other.
Over time, Sallie grew troubled by the very foundation of the family's fortune. To her, the Winchester name was tied to profit made through death, and that was a burden she struggled to carry. Remember, her family was very giving. They're very charitable people. Like they'd give you the shirt off their back, and it was probably a very expensive shirt. It was probably silk
with sequins and everything.
Although they leaned on one another for support, grief became a constant presence in their marriage. They never had more children, and Sallie's health began to falter in the years that followed. Still, their bond remained strong. They shared a love of travel, taking trips together, including visits to San Francisco in the 1870s, that Sallie would later remember fondly when deciding to move west. In the fall of 1880, Sallie's mother passed away. But I was unable to locate any sources that specified how, so apparently she's not as important as the father. Because they said he died by rheumatoid arthritis.
Okay. Oh, isn't that sad?
Yes.
at least be mentioned.
Yeah. In March of 1881, her father-in-law, Oliver Winchester, the founder of Winchester Repeating Arms Company, also passed away. Then, just a few months later, heartbreak struck again when her William fell ill with tuberculosis.
Jeez, this is sad.
It's like boom, 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 boom.
When they say when it rains, it pours, I guess so.
That's hard for anybody to, that amount of grief and sorrow, like to come out of that, like still standing is very impressive. And I just feel for her.
Mhm.
She had a very sad, sad life. After months of struggle, he passed away at just 43 years old, leaving Sallie a widow. Their marriage had lasted nearly 20 years, bound together by love but defined by loss. After so much loss and death, Sallie retreated to the seashore for some solace.
Say that 5 times fast. Sallie retreated to the seashore for some Nope.
She then went to Europe for some time. She needed a little vacay.
Good for her, because if I could have taken some vacation during some of my darkest times, I probably wouldn't have been in those dark times for as long as I was, because sometimes just getting, even though I'm by myself a lot, because Ezra, goes to his dad's and whatever, being out of that environment.
Yeah. Just being someplace different, kind of get your head out of that darkness for a little while at least.
Because some people think being home alone is nice, and it is when you have your kid 24/7. But when you have an empty nest, so to say, and you are a depressive person, having nobody around in that specific place brings up those memories of sadness, of like, oh, my child is gone and I'm not married and I'm not this and I'm not that. And it's like, you need to get out of that environment. So take a U day, go somewhere sunny, or if you don't like the sun, that's fine. Go to a park and sit in the shade, or go to the forest.
Go to the zoo, go to a museum, go somewhere.
Go somewhere that's not at home alone in the dark of all of the stuff that could
be surrounded by your sadness.
Yes, exactly.
Sallie never remarried. Instead, she carried William's memory with her for the rest of her life. The architectural project she later poured herself into, the home in San Jose that became the Winchester Mystery House, may have been inspired in part by the passion she and William once shared for design. Sallie inherited a considerable fortune, one that tied her forever to the Winchester rifle empire. Shortly before his death, William made bank drafts to his wife totaling $7,500 and made her the executrix of his will. After William's death in 1881, Sallie inherited 777 shares of the Winchester Repeating Arms Company.
She needs to play the lottery.
With all those sevens.
With all those sevens. 7.
Which were valued at $77,700 at the time, which is, I can't even imagine how much that is today.
That was back in the 1800s,
1881.
Still 18?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, still in the 1800s, $77,700. That's
a lot of money.
A lot of money. Because you got to think too, back then, people were like, oh, here's a quarter, go buy a gallon of milk.
Yeah.
Here's a nickel, go buy a piece of corn. I don't know.
A piece of corn.
Ear of corn.
I come back with
Here's my corn. Here's my corn, sir.
Mike Tyson
Please.
spits the ear piece into your
Can
hand.
I have some more? Please, sir. Oh, boy.
Between 1880 to 1885, she earned dividends from the stock averaging $7,900 annually. It's important to note that a large share of Oliver's estate wouldn't pass directly to her until after his wife, which was Sallie's mother-in-law, would pass away in 1898. In 1884, she endured yet another loss when her eldest sister, Mary Converse, passed away. Amid this wave of sorrow, Sallie's own health began to decline. She developed rheumatoid arthritis as well, which caused her great pain and made daily life increasingly difficult. Some say that doctors suggested that she move to a warmer, drier climate where the air might ease her suffering. Historians note that her doctor's recommendation, fond memories of traveling with her husband to San Francisco in the 1870s, and glowing advertisements about the Golden State's health benefits may all have played a role in her decision. Others state, the more fun idea here, that in her search to figure out what to do with all this wealth, all this blood money, if you will, she sought the insight of a medium from Boston. The medium supposedly told her that she would be tormented by the spirits of those killed by Winchester guns unless she appeased the spirits. She could accomplish this by moving out west and building a house for their lost souls.
Dun, dun, dun.
By 1885, at age 46, Sallie left New Haven behind and relocated to California. We're finally here. Yay.
We didn't want to mislead you. So
Yeah.
we're, still in California.
Yep. Sallie encouraged her 3 surviving sisters to join her, and in time, they too made the move west. But they didn't actually move in with her. Sallie had multiple acres of land. And so she was very kind of secluded still. And the sisters wanted more of a place within the city, with the shops and the restaurants and, the hustle and bustle. They wanted that experience.
I don't want that. I would have, however, moved in with my sister. She's got fucking 20 rooms and it's a big ass house. You probably won't run into them. And the way she describes it, you'll see.
At the time, though, it wasn't a big,
no, but in the beginning it said it was 20 rooms.
That eventually.
Oh, eventually. Okay. Well, still, I would move in with my sister because I would be like, you have all the money. I'm going to move in with you.
That was their house in.
That was their house growing up?
No, when they first got married, they built a house.
Oh,
that was in Connecticut.
This is the other one.
This is in California.
Okay, but still, it's a house, and she makes all the money. I'm moving in with you. Yeah. I ain't going to the city, and I ain't going to another house. You want me to move in? I'm moving.
Sure.
Don't ask me twice.
In 1886, Sallie met Edward Ned Rambo, a San Francisco agent for the Winchester Repeating Arms Company. Rambo took her on a tour of the Santa Clara Valley, where she found a 45-acre ranch near San Jose. 45 acres.
That's a lot.
I would take it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I say that's a lot because I don't live on 45 acres, but now that I'm with Mike and they're farmers, 45 acres isn't a lot. It is, but it's not. They have over hundreds of acres, and I'm just just one house alone is 50 acres. I think Mike is 10 acres. And then they have a whole bunch in Buchanan or Glen that's over 100, 200 acres.
Can they just give me 2?
I know. That's what I told Mike. I said, listen, you have your house up here. You got your barns. Then he's got a little pathway that leads out into his field for his farm. There's some area there that's not farm land. So he just has, bonfire pit and stuff like that. So I said, let me get my tiny house and just put it on your back 40. Let me just put it back there and we can see each other when we want. But we're not living together, but we're living together. And he was like, I don't know about all that. I'm like, seriously, you have all this land. It's not affecting your farm. Just let me have it.
You wouldn't even just do it. You wouldn't know.
Exactly.
How often does he go?
Well, he mows once a week. So he's really crazy on his mowing. But after that, I don't know, because there's no reason to go back there but to hunt. And I could be like, oh, that was you. You built that little hut right there for hunting.
Yeah, don't you remember?
Oh, you remember? And you just want me to come hang out with you. So I'm always here, ready to go.
The property was owned by John Hamm, included a modest 2-story, 8-room farmhouse. That's what it started as.
Okay, still, I would take that over the hustle and bustle of the city.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
and
Sarah
pays.
I am not.
Sallie pays for everything. So, okay.
Yeah, I'm not about the hustle and bustle.
No.
I hate cities at all.
No.
Sallie purchased it and chose the name Yanata Villa for her San Jose estate because the ranch land reminded her of the Yanata Elevesa, a broad plain in the Basque region of northern Spain. The word Yanata itself is Spanish for plain or flat expanse, and it reflected the wide open valley where her property sat in California. Sallie had an appreciation for language and culture, and giving the home a name connected to a European landscape she admired gave it a sense of elegance and meaning. So, in short, she named it Yanata Villa because the land's geography reminded her of Yanata Alavesa, and it made her feel comforted. It was peaceful. It was By 1890, Sallie had a new companion in her household, her 21-year-old niece, Marion, who went by Daisy. Daisy became Sallie's secretary, handling correspondence and banking. The two women shared much of their lives, often attending charitable events together. Both were active supporters of the Red Cross and associated charities. So again, they're continuing the life of giving.
Mm-hmm.
In 1903, Sallie paid for Daisy's wedding to Frederick Marriott III. So I wonder if that's Marriott of the Marriotts.
Oh,
Like
the fancy
the
hotel
hotels.
chain.
Yeah, I wonder. She even bought homes in Atherton that the newlyweds could live in, one conveniently located near the train station to make Frederick's commute easier.
She's so thoughtful.
She is. She's really, and that's like her niece. Like, that's not even her child, but I'm sure she treats her as a child, a surrogate child. Sallie also purchased property near Burlingame in 1904, but chose not to build there. Instead, she acquired a houseboat, known at the time as an ark.
Because boat is just not good enough.
No,
it has to be big and fancy.
She needed a house ark, okay?
She needed an ark.
Both Sallie and her late husband had enjoyed architecture and design while building their home in New Haven. So when Sallie purchased her California farmhouse, she envisioned expanding it. She hired architects at first, but soon dismissed them, preferring to design and direct the work herself without any real
knowledge
and or schooling.
And good for her to be able to do that. However, I feel like you can't just go in there and be like, here's my stick house, make it into a real one.
Yeah.
Because you need to know
blueprints and stuff like that. Like,
well, you need to know how many pounds
of concrete,
how many square feet per pound is this piece of wood going to hold of whatever. Like,
yeah,
it's a lot of
to be
math.
Structurally sound. Yeah.
For sure. It's a lot of mathing.
She sketched plans, guided carpenters, and incorporated ideas she admired from world fairs of the era. What made Sallie unusual wasn't just the scale of her ambition, it was the independence she showed in taking full control of the project. Historian Colin Dickey has even suggested she was something of an architectural pioneer for her time. But Sallie was never fully satisfied. She often tore down and rebuilt rooms, sometimes more than once. One 7-story tower was said to have been rebuilt 16 times before she just finally abandoned it. Could you imagine? What a waste.
Well, yeah. Because it costs money every time you build that. And then she was just like, fuck it.
The money was
there was no objects.
Yeah.
Wish I had money like that.
Yeah, me too. The constant changes gave the home its famously labyrinth-like design. Staircases that stopped at ceilings, doors that opened to walls, and windows hidden inside. Despite its oddities, the house was full of beauty. Sallie used fine materials like mahogany, teak, and maple. The ballroom floor was laid in an intricate pattern, and the walls were decorated with carved wood. The large brick fireplace was framed by windows bearing Shakespearean quotes. Like this fancy pants.
Yeah. And good for her, but I'm a little bit jealous. So
The rooms reflected Victorian style with touches of Gothic and Romanesque design. Bedrooms had adjoining sewing rooms, which that's weird. Why does each room need a sewing
A
room?
sewing room. Because, like, is that all women are good for? Sewing?
Unless it means something else that I don't know.
Sewing room.
While ceilings were decorated with moldings, stencils, and faux finishes, furnishings came from across the globe. German chandeliers, Austrian art glass, French paintings, and Asian pieces. Sallie also installed modern conveniences, a generator, indoor plumbing, and even an annunciator system, an early intercom to call servants, because when it's that big, you can't just go hollering.
And there wasn't cell phones to text.
No. One stairway, built to accommodate her arthritis and small stature, she was only 4'10", rose just 10 feet over the course of 44 shallow steps. So it was like, tick, 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 tick.
And it only went up 10 feet.
Yep.
Oh, boy.
Perhaps most striking were the windows. Many featured pastel-colored glass in unusual asymmetric shapes. Some had elaborate spiderweb designs. So I'm thinking like Wednesday.
Yes, and that would be fucking awesome. I would totally do that.
I'd be down for that. Though guides later claimed they were made by Tiffany & Co., evidence suggests the real artisan was John Mallon of the Pacific American Decorative Company. A note in Sallie's handwriting found behind a wall seemed to confirm that. At its largest, the house may have had as many as 500 rooms, though by Sallie's death, the count stood at 160. On April 18, 1906, disaster struck. The San Francisco earthquake devastated Granada Villa. The 7-story tower collapsed, but oh well, she didn't do anything with it anyways.
Right.
Chimneys fell and entire wings were destroyed. Doors, well, maybe if she had to use an architect, it would have withstood that earthquake.
Just saying.
Just saying. Doors now open to empty air, staircases ended abruptly, and pipes jutted out where flower boxes once hung, which that is a smart feature. Having the plumbing going out to your flower boxes to just water them. That is
like future technology that she thought of.
She was living in 2025 right there. Jeez. That was smart. Sallie cleared the rubble, but chose not to rebuild much of the damage. From that point on, the house retained its eerie, unfinished quality. As her health worsened, Sallie slowed construction. By the 1910s, she focused more on her finances than her home, even adding an elevator in 1916 to make movement easier for her, because her arthritis is getting so bad, it's hard for her to move, even with her little stairs. Despite myths that the house was under constant construction until her death, work was often paused, sometimes for months at a time. In truth, Sallie was deeply practical. Neighbors and workers remembered her as intelligent, business-minded, and far from the eccentric recluse newspapers later portrayed her. Yet, by the late 1800s, what began as a modest farmhouse soon transformed into an enormous 7-story mansion. Gossip whispered around town that the crews worked around the clock, and Sallie was said to frequently consult with mediums and spiritualists from across the city. According to legend, she believed these seances offered guidance, blueprints from beyond, on how best to keep the spirits at bay.
And I think I would do the same thing. I would consult with some people to be like, what do I do? Because I don't want these guys to come after me because they died by my husband and my father-in-law's guns, but they're going to come after me. Yeah. How do I keep them at bay? Because I don't want that.
One thing was certain, construction never stopped, really. For the rest of her life, Sallie oversaw constant building, renovations, and strange new additions, all said to be for the sake of the restless dead. To throw off any ghosts that might seek her out directly, Sallie designed features that defied reason. Staircases leading nowhere, doors that opened into sudden drops, windows set in the middle of rooms, and hallways that twisted back on themselves. Perhaps she believed these spirits would lose their way inside her labyrinth of a home, trapped in confusion while she remained just one step ahead.
Mhm.
These rumors only grew after her death. Tour guides added tales of seances and obsession with the number 13, and a supposed psychic who told Sallie to build forever. Historians have found no proof of any of these claims. Her staff denied she held seances, and the oddities of the house, like shallow stairs and walled up windows, have much simpler explanations. The shallow stairs were easier for Sallie to move about with her painful rheumatoid arthritis. The number 13, some historians suggest she simply liked consistency and patterns. The walled up windows and sealed rooms were done so after the earthquake, to avoid dangerous areas of the house.
Because she chose not to rebuild.
Yeah. Instead of repairing the damage, Sallie had them sealed up because the house was already huge and she didn't really need the extra space. The doors that led to nowhere were a result of constant remodeling. Plans were often changed mid-build, so it didn't line up. A hallway could be redirected or an addition altered, leaving floors and windows opening to blank walls, drops, or strange spaces. Some of these oddities might have been tied to Sallie's grief and interest in spiritualism, but many were simply the result of ongoing construction, constant changes in design, earthquake damage, and her health issues. Over time, folklore took over, turning practical quirks into ghostly defenses. Sallie Winchester passed away on September 5th, 1922, at the age of 83, quietly in her sleep at Granada Villa, the sprawling estate that had consumed much of her later life. So that's nice that, she had
Peace.
a peaceful
Mhm.
end. The official cause of death was heart failure, and with her passing came the end of an era of constant construction. Her estate was valued at around $4 million. So $4 million in 1922.
That's probably 600-700 million now.
Yeah,
I don't know,
I don't know.
but a lot.
Yeah. It was divided mostly between charities and her surviving family, with her niece receiving the largest share. Strangely, the house itself wasn't even mentioned in her will. To Sallie, it was never an investment, just a deeply personal creation shaped by grief, superstition, and secrecy. After her death, her belongings were auctioned off, and the peculiar, seemingly useless mansion was sold to investors. Yet her death did not quiet the stories. Locals whispered that the spirits she had tried so hard to appease had finally claimed her, and that her soul might still wander the endless corridors she had built to confuse the dead. Others speculated that she left behind secret messages written within the walls of her labyrinth, clues that, if discovered, might explain the mansion's oddities. Nothing has ever been found, but the legend endures. In many ways, Sallie Winchester's greatest legacy wasn't her fortune or her philanthropy. It was the Winchester Mystery House itself, a place where grief, mystery, and folklore became forever entangled. By 1923, the house had already become a tourist attraction. New owners promoted its ghostly legends, leaning into the mystery that has captivated visitors for over a century. Still, the myths stuck. In 1924, Harry Houdini visited, and intrigued by the home's unusual layout, may have even suggested its enduring name, the Winchester Mystery House. Houdini was deeply interested in exposing fraudulent spiritualists. He attended seances undercover and debunked mediums who claimed they could contact the dead. When he toured the house, he was fascinated by its endless corridors, doors to nowhere, and the legends surrounding Sallie Winchester. According to reports, he left the property calling it the Mystery House, a nickname that stuck and became part of the home's official identity. Houdini himself didn't claim the house was haunted, but his notoriety and skepticism added to its mystique.
But let me say this. Who is he to say that he was debunking mediums and stuff, saying that the ghosts and stuff aren't real?
Because he would try to see if they would come up with something fake. He would go in there.
And he would say stuff that was fake that he would try to get them to then repeat. Like, I don't understand.
I don't.
Like, I going in there and being like, mediums are like, I see somebody that starts with an A, and he doesn't know anybody that starts with an A.
Yeah,
He's like, yeah, Andrea. Like, he says
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how I would
I was trying to figure out how he was to debunk. Like, who are you?
But that's a man after my own heart. Like, I'm okay if this stuff is real. I really am. I hope it's real.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to do everything I can to prove it's not first.
Right. And she does.
His visit kept the mansion in the public eye and helped cement its reputation as a place shrouded in mystery and legend. Sallie Winchester's philanthropy often gets overshadowed by the legends of her mansion, but she was actually known for her generosity and quiet giving throughout her life. Unlike her flamboyant home, she kept her charitable work mostly private. She donated large sums of money to hospitals, orphanages, and educational institutions, particularly in New Haven, Connecticut, where she had lived before moving to California. She also supported the Yale University Medical School and various local charities aimed at helping the less fortunate. In California, Sallie gave to a number of causes as well, though always discreetly. So she wasn't out there for the pat on the back. It was just, she felt she needed to do that.
And it sucks because nowadays people are like, watch me give this bum $500.
Yeah. And that's, I hate when I see stuff like that.
Me too, because it's like you're doing something nice, but now you're doing it because it gives you street cred or whatever they want to call it.
Yeah, it's not,
you're not
doing it for them.
And you're not doing it out of the kindness of your heart either.
No,
you got to record
I'm
it.
sure that's embarrassing for them. Like, they don't want to be blasted on needing a handout, you know?
And you're not, and once you put that, I'm sorry, you may be doing it out of the kindness of your heart, but once you put it in recording and you put it on the internet, it's not out of the kindness of your heart. It's for what do they call it? Clout. It's for clout. And let's be real.
So Sallie was not like that.
No.
She reportedly funded health clinics, contributed to local churches, and assisted those in need in her community without drawing attention to herself. From what's been recorded, Sallie treated her workers with unusual generosity for the time. She kept them employed year-round, even when construction didn't necessarily need to be going at full speed. And I had actually read somewhere that she actually purchased the construction workers nearby homes so their family could be with them, since they're constantly working, so they could still be a family.
What person that has money treats the help like that? Yeah. She bought them houses, and then she just consistently had projects going on to keep them employed, to keep giving them money. And usually people with a lot of money are still tightwads, and they're like, oh, nothing's going on. Yeah. You're fired, or I don't have work for you. Go home, and leave them essentially unemployed.
Many people believe that this was intentional, a way to provide a steady income for local carpenters, craftsmen, and laborers who otherwise might have struggled with seasonal or inconsistent work. Some accounts say she paid them well above the standard wage and made sure they and their families were taken care of. She was also known to treat her staff like extended family. Unlike many wealthy homeowners of the era who were distant or harsh with their servants, Sallie was said to be kind and respectful, providing comfortable living quarters on the property and ensuring that her household staff and construction crews were looked after. In that sense, the constant building wasn't only about possibly confusing spirits. It may have even been Sallie's way of channeling her fortune into the lives of others, keeping people employed and supported for decades. That gave me chills.
Mm-hmm.
One of her lasting philanthropic gestures was leaving much of her estate, worth millions at the time, to various charities upon her death in 1922. Her giving reflected a sense of responsibility that contrasted with her reputation for eccentricity. While the mansion is her most famous legacy, those who knew her often remembered Sallie as someone deeply committed to quiet acts of generosity and compassion. Today, the Winchester Mystery House stands as a monument to Sallie Winchester's extraordinary life and vision. What began as a modest farmhouse evolved into a sprawling mansion with 160 rooms, each filled with curious architectural twists and turns. Visitors can explore more than 100 of these rooms on guided tours, stepping into the very spaces Sallie once walked, where staircases end abruptly, doors open into walls, and hallways twist back on themselves. Beyond the regular tours, the mansion embraces its mysterious reputation with seasonal events. Every autumn, the estate holds festival Fright Nights, an immersive Halloween experience that invites guests to uncover the secrets of Sallie's legendary home. From haunted attractions to themed food and drink, these events bring the mansion's storied past to life in new ways, letting visitors imagine the labyrinthine estate as it may have been in the 1920s, shortly after Sallie's death. That would be awesome to go to.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So that might
So
be.
while we're visiting Disneyland,
we'll have
we'll go
to
there.
take a trip. Make sure it's during a, what do they call it? Festival Fright Night. Watch, I'll stop doing that. Even those who can't visit in person, the mansion continues to captivate. Virtual tours allow enthusiasts to wander the enigmatic spaces from home, experiencing the unusual design choices and imagining the decades Sallie spent guiding the endless construction herself. Through its rooms and corridors, the Winchester Mystery House remains more than just a building. It is Sallie Winchester's enduring legacy, a testament to her life, her wealth, her grief, and the mystique that has made her home famous around the world. Sallie Winchester's life was marked by profound loss, resilience, and creativity. She was a wealthy widow, a patron of charity, a woman who loved design, and someone who built one of the most extraordinary homes in America. While the legends of hauntings and curses may not be true, they've become part of the folklore that keeps her memory alive. And she was just an amazing woman.
She was fucking fantastic. Like, wow.
Yeah, like, wow. I'm in awe of her.
Yes.
I wish we all could
take a page from her book.
Yeah, because I mean, even with a little of the kooky and the spooky there, that
right.
just adds to it.
Yeah, that makes her a well-rounded person.
Yes.
Not only was she giving and caring, and she was just this genuine person, she also was a little bit crazy, and that's good.
And she had all of this sadness and pain that could have just crushed her
alive, and she turned it into something good.
Just kept giving and didn't let it break her down.
Yep. And that is phenomenal. Yes. She is a phenomenal person.
So yeah, if you can, I'll post pictures, of course, but you might want to look at the virtual. That would be really neat.
Yeah,
to get a better look at it. Or if you're nearby or planning a trip, go there, take a look, let us know, send us pictures.
Mm-hmm.
We want to see.
Yep.
That being said, if you have any other stories you want us to cover or any states you want us to cover, we don't have to go in alphabetical order. We can jump ahead if you've got something you want us to cover. Or if you have any glitches in the Matrix, any Bigfoot sightings, we want to know how big his foot is. You can send those into our email at spinechillingchatspodcast@gmail.com. Or you can go to our website, www.spine-chillingchatspodcast.com, and submit them there.
Mm-hmm.
On our website, we also have links to our past episodes. It'll take you to our Spotify list, so you can listen to them all there. You can see our biographies and some pictures of us. We have a link to our merch shop.
Buy some merch.
We've got everything and anything you could ever hope or dream of.
Mm-hmm.
So please
Adults to children.
Yep. Well, we even have with our new spooky season line, we even have pet clothes. There's like a little dog, or I guess even a cat can wear it.
Yeah.
A little hoodie. So check it out. Buy some stuff.
Buy some stuff. It's cool.
And then if you do, send us pictures of you wearing that stuff or using it or whatever. We want to see you enjoying the fruits of our labor.
Yes.
Check us out on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. And if you're listening to this on one of the many audio podcast platforms we're on, you can also see us in video form on YouTube and see our smiling faces.
Yes, because they're so beautiful.
And we're still twinsies because we recorded 2 in one day.
Yeah.
So it's not like we wear this every week. This is the same day.
Yeah. So that's all I got.
Please like, subscribe, share, comment, follow.
All the things.
Yep.
Just do it. Don't even think about it. Just do it.
Just do it.
What do you got to lose?
Just forward it to all of your friends.
You got an hour of your day. You don't like us? Okay. If you do, you keep listening. It's a win-win situation. You lose an hour, which sucks because you don't like us. You don't like us. But if you like us, then you got something to look forward to every Wednesday.
Yeah.
So I think that's it.
That's it. All right. Well, we hope you enjoyed this. We hope you come back. And most of all, we hope you keep it spooky. Bye, guys.
Bye.